Running up the score.
Jerry Napoleonello.
The Cowboys made 2 mistakes in the last 3 years. One was letting Dak take over for Romo and not having Romo come back in. And 2 was releasing Des Bryant.
Superstition, screw that. Let's pick this bad boy up and walk it around the ice.
Kevin Donlin.
The NFL, like every league, is a business. And in a business, you have a job. And let me tell you something. You always have a boss. No matter who you are, you have a boss when you're in the organization. The New York Jets, you know what they need to do with their second round pick? They need to just start taking it and lighting it up on fire.
This is Running Up the Score, your one-stop spot for all things sports. Join in on the conversation by calling in at 605-562-7085. Now here's your hosts, Jerry Napoleonello and Kevin Donlin.
All right, it's time to run up the score. Running up the score with Jerry Napoleonello and Kevin Donlin. We're back for another podcast. And we wanted to get right into hockey playoffs, and what better to start with than the Islanders and the Penguins. What a game. I'm excited. I know Kevin's excited. We're happy to be up 1-0 on this. You know what it is? This team, this Penguins team, even though they were behind the Islanders in the standings, they still are a tough team. I mean, they have stars all over the ice when it comes down to just what they put on the ice. I mean, Crosby, Malkin, Hornquist, Kessel, everything. I mean, they have it all. And, I mean, the fact that the Islanders are up 1-0 in this series, I'm excited. I mean, I'll let Kevin give up his, his recap here. I mean, we're going to get deeper into it, but I just wanted to...
Well, without a doubt, you could see that, the Islanders played a great game yesterday, and Pittsburgh's a very good team. And these are two different styles, folks, when you watch this game. And, Pittsburgh's got a lot of firepower on the front end. They got a lot of great forwards. Phil Kessel's unbelievable. Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Genzel. The list goes on and on with this team. The one question mark I had from this game, and that I took a big part of, and I said the Islanders played a great game, and it takes nothing away from their forecheck. The Islanders had a great forecheck, but it had a lot of mistakes coming from the Pittsburgh Penguins back end. Their defensemen were very questionable in this game. It was not easy to watch as an Islander fan. So being a Pittsburgh Penguin fan, it must have been absolutely brutal to watch. I mean, the Islanders were, they did a great job on the forecheck. Again, don't want to take anything away, but at the same time, a lot of turnovers for the Penguins, and it led to a lot of great opportunities for the Islanders in that game. And that's why I thought the Islanders actually played a very good game. They really went after them on the forecheck, forced a lot of turnovers. This is the playoffs. It's a much different game. We talked about this on the last show. You're going to have to think quicker, react quicker at this time of year. Play doesn't stop, and it doesn't slow down. Even I kind of saw that Matt Barzal saw that part of the game change yesterday, and Matt Barzal is a very, very quick thinker, and he's a quick skater, and it makes it really, to see someone like that, who, again, don't get me wrong, it's your first playoff game, and you had to adjust. But, the game's just quicker. It's faster. The decision-making, it's at another level than the regular season. And there's a lot of stakes at this point. So, overall, I thought the Islanders played a great game. I thought Pittsburgh made a little bit, a couple of mistakes in that game. And the fact that game was tied and made it to overtime is probably a good sign for the Penguins.
Yeah.
Even going forward, because you couldn't play a worse game.
Especially on the road.
Absolutely. You couldn't play a worse game on the back end. Now, it's not, and, obviously everyone wants to talk about Sidney Crosby wasn't mentioned much, and, he was contained. That's the least of an Islander fan or just the Islander team is worries. That it's not really a worry for them right now. Crosby's a great player. He's going to end up putting the puck in the net. But the one thing I saw from many of these Pittsburgh Penguins players, the points were there for this team all year long. But the plus-minus is the one thing I always care about. I've always been a big fan of that stat. I think it is the most important stat. And right now, you look at all these guys, guys like Phil Kessel and Malkin. These guys put up a lot of points this year. Now, Malkin, not too much. He dealt with a couple of injuries throughout the season. But Phil Kessel threw up, I think, 82 points this year. I think he finished with a minus, somewhere in the minus 20, minus 19 area, somewhere in that area. So you threw up 82 points, and you're still in the minus. It just shows that the back check's going to have to be there for the Penguins. They're going to have to change up the style they play right now, because right now their defensemen are making a lot of mistakes. And if these forwards are trying to cheat and trying to get breaks and trying to get 3-on-1s, 2-on-1s on the back end of the New York Islanders, you're going to get caught, especially if your defensemen are continuing to make turnovers like that. And honestly, I was quite shocked, but, Chris Letang was a big part of that.
Well, what I saw in this game, and I'll give my opinion on the Islanders. I thought Matt Barzal was just really, he was humming all game long. I mean, the guy was at top speed the whole game. And when he's at top speed, that guy is unreal.
Absolutely.
I mean, just look at the game-winning goal is a perfect example of it.
100%.
But
where was the that's what I don't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all right.
Where was the back check?
Yeah.
Matt Barzal just stopped.
Literally, and
he sat there with the puck for at least a solid 2 seconds. You could have counted up to 2, which is a lot of time in the NHL playoffs.
Yeah,
and there was no back check whatsoever.
It's funny because in the play-by-play after the goal on NBC Sports Network, you actually hear I don't know who it was. It was a woman who's the color commentary in that. She basically said he stopped, and it felt like an hour that he was in front of the net. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times he went back and forth before he actually got the backhand off and hit the post. Don't get me wrong. This was a great scoring chance. It opened it up because it just drew the defense and everything, and Josh Bailey was able to come in, behind and knock it through the net. But my biggest thing, my biggest thing was I felt like Barzal played amazing. Kuhnhackl played better than I thought he was going to play in that game.
Kuhnhackl had one of the best games of any Islander yesterday, no doubt. And it has nothing to do with any of the goal chances he had. I think his ability to
scored the first goal, and
he forced a lot of turnovers that I was just mentioning.
Yeah, I thought Brock Nelson played very well. Hey, we scored on the power play within 25 seconds, which was, I can't even remember a power play goal. So that was great. Just overall, that fourth line is always going to be there. Cizikas was all over the ice. I thought Anders Lee played physical. The Islanders as a whole played very physical. And that's what they have to do, because Pittsburgh does not like to get hit. They don't like to get hit. They're one of those star type teams that are very elusive, that like to skate. This is a team that you have to knock on the ice. Honestly, you have to.
The way I want to close it with this game and this recap is on the basis that, you watch Pittsburgh try to keep up with the New York Islanders hitting, and it's going to be a big problem for this team because it's very hard to keep up with the hitting of the New York Islanders. The Islanders have a lot of guys out there that are willing to throw the body, and Pittsburgh is going to have to pick up the hitting a lot more than they did in Game 1. And I know they tried in that game, but it was very difficult to keep up. And it was almost amusing for an Islander fan to watch this team try to keep up with the New York Islanders hitting-wise.
And you know what? That's the thing. That's a great thing about the Islanders being physical. They're gonna basically take the Pittsburgh Penguins out of their play, out of their game, and that causes mistakes. And that we saw it last night. But before we get out of here with this recap of the Islanders and the Penguins, basically, I thought I was gonna go into this with that Leddy goal, thinking that goal was going to end the game. And I was going to say that the turning point of this game was that penalty kill with about, I guess it was 9 minutes left in the third period. I thought that was the whole, turn the game around. And then within 2 minutes, they score a goal. So I'm like, all right, this is exactly what I'm going to go into this podcast saying. The turning point of that was the penalty kill. Schultz ended up scoring with about 2 minutes left, which really hurt us. But, we ended up getting it done. The Islanders got it done. Nassau Coliseum got it done too. They were bumping, and I'm excited to be there tomorrow night. Maybe I can even get a video going.
Sure.
At
Live from
the game.
Be breezy.
And it is all over!
You've been listening to Running Up the Score on SportsCastr Live. We run up the score on sports radio. You've been listening to the Running Up the Score podcast. For more Running Up the Score, go follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at RUTS Sports.